Right, what up, people? It's your boy Chid from Green and Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. This time it is Eagle Eye, the transfer rumor show, where I talk to you about rumors and news surrounding the Arsenal. First and foremost, you know how we do this thing. Big up to everyone that is here currently, first of all, in the chat already. Please also stick a like on this video because that's the thing to do. It's Friday night. Views might be a little tight. I'm a poet and I didn't know it, but please do stick a like on this video. It helps people notice the show, people that aren't aware it's on. You know how YouTube sometimes like to do me over with this, the YouTuber, excuse me, got hiccups, that like to do me over with the YouTube notifications. So many people tell me they don't receive the notifications, so help them. Stick a like on this video, abuse that like button, and as I start to talk about these stories, hopefully more and more people will flood to the show. Now, just want to adjust this a little bit. Now, I knew about this story from pretty early on. You guys know. Ain't no one better than me at looking for transfer stories. I refuse to believe it. No one's better than me. So I already knew about this story, and I've obviously got some more stories to talk about as we go on the show. But I really kind of wanted to see a few things, really. I wanted to see how Lucas Torreira would react. I wanted to see how people would react. And then I wanted to give you what my opinion was on this story. But for anyone who doesn't know, so Lucas Torreira's agent came out today and basically just made a statement. And that's what made me think Lucas Torreira is not going to deny his story, because it just seemed like it was out of the blue. And basically, the agent has confirmed that Lucas Torreira wants to leave Arsenal this summer. Specifically, and I'm going to quote him, this is a quote that comes from Tutu Mercato Web. I know people always asking where I got these stories from. I will have a talk to Arsenal, he told Tutu Marco Web. The player would love a return to Italy, but it must be acknowledged that Arsenal treated him very well and he's behaved great. I don't know if there are many things. Oh, so yeah, it goes on to say some stuff about, some of Lucas Torreira's quotes in the past, which obviously is the fact that he's not sure if he enjoys life in Britain and England, and obviously the food and the climate and things like that. There was a part of a story that kind of indicated that maybe Torreira and Arteta have had some sort of fallout, because the agent went on to say something along the lines of, Lucas has been in a bit of a bad mood and there has been some technical differences. And then he recovered. Sorry, technical differences. And then he recovered, added Ben Tuka. And then this injury happened. Fortunately, it is less serious than expected. And then it was something along the lines of, and he's expected to be in the market this summer. So pretty categorical. He wants to leave. It seems like, from what I gather, Lucas Torreira and Arteta have had some sort of falling out. He seems to have gotten on with it, at least temporarily. It's left him feeling away when he was already feeling away. And now he just wants to leave. I'm kind of on the mindset of this. Now, you guys know I'm not a huge fan of Mikel Arteta. Well, that in itself is incorrect. It's not that I'm not a huge fan of Mikel Arteta. I'm just not necessarily treating him like this Jesus-like figure like a lot of Arsenal fans are. I'm still very much waiting and seeing what we get. And that's as simple as that. It's nothing against the man. I hope he does well. I'm just, you guys know it. I've said it before many, many times on this channel. I think it is a madness putting our club in the hands of a novice. I've said that before to you. Having said that, in my opinion, when you are one of the players of this team, I want to see you get on with it. It doesn't matter what technical differences. That's the reason the coach is there, to try and improve you. I've said this to you before. Personally, I like Lucas Torreira. In fact, Funny enough, I said this 2 days ago, like I knew this story was coming. Um, for me, I like Lucas Torreira. I do. I think he's a tenacious, very industrious player. And I think for that reason, because he's industrious, people give him a pass on a lot of technical issues that I see in him. Um, I've said to you before, positionally, I don't think he's that good. I feel like sometimes for all of Guendouzi and Arteta and Granit Xhaka's faults, and don't get me wrong, I would play Lucas Torreira in front of those guys. But for all of their faults, positionally, this season they are better than Lucas Torreira. By the way, on that, someone criticized me because they said their whole point was, oh well, last season Granit Xhaka wasn't very good professionally. Was talking about last season. I'm saying now, Granit Xhaka is better positionally than Lucas Torreira is right now. I'm not talking about last season. For you to say, "Oh well, Granit Xhaka had that issue last season," all right. What's your point? That doesn't detract from what I said. Right now, positionally, he has a better grasp of where to be than Lucas Torreira. All too often, I see Lucas Torreira doing some sort of recovery tackle, running backwards like a madman, running forwards like a madman, and then not knowing what to do. I feel like he's a bit headless in that respect. Now, there could be all sorts of debates and reasons that you can throw at me. And listen, I'm prepared to have that debate with you, not an issue. But from my perspective, that's my belief of why I believe that managers don't seem to rate this kid enough. It started with Emery. Emery had no idea what to do with Lucas Torreira. You figure that the guy has so much energy and is such a bundle of energy that maybe he would make a decent number 10, just a different type of a false number 10, if you like. I wouldn't have done that, but I can kind of sort of see the sort of theory and why you might decide to go down that route. But from my perspective, and to me, it always seems silly, always seems short-sighted. But I can understand. Like I say, I want to make it clear. I like Lucas Torreira, but I do understand some of the issues that managers have with them. And clearly, when you talk about technical differences or whatever it was his agent said, you wonder what kind of technical differences is it? Like, surely, even if you disagree, just do it. You get on with it and you do it and you be professional. You know, to say, oh well, I wasn't happy with what Arteta told me, so you know, I became unhappy and then I got on with it, but now it's made me wanted to leave. Like, bruh, you wanted to leave last season. Let's just be real. Let's be real. And I'm in the mindset where I'm just like, all right, you know what? That's the Thomas Partey money. Let's sell him and get Thomas Partey with it. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm trying to get as much positives as possible out of it. And now it makes a little more sense why we're being linked with the likes of your Rabo, your Rabos and your Thomas Parties and your Nelsons. Because you think to yourself, why do we need so many midfielders? But if Torreira wants to go, there's obviously huge question marks over Granit Xhaka from our point of view. From the manager's point of view, apparently he's yet to be convinced by Guendouzi. He's yet to be convinced by Maitland-Niles in that position. Joe Willock is still very young, and you've got another very young man in Emil Smith Rowe. Actually, it makes sense why you would think about bringing a Rabiot in, because I don't think his attitude is particularly very not good, but when he's about this life, he's a quality player. He's a quality player. And he seems like the sort of person that likes to be, I'm going to call it man managed. You guys might call it something else. He likes to have that kind of sold around him, told he's great, told he's magnificent before you get the real quality out of him. And actually, a midfield of him alongside a Thomas Partey sounds pretty strong to me. Actually, it feels like a stronger midfield than the one we're rolling with. So I don't mind the idea of that, actually. I like the idea of that potentially. like a Rabiot alongside a Thomas Partey. So, and not to mention that Ceballos is going end of the season as well. And all right, you might say, but he's a little bit more creative, but not the way Arteta was playing him. So actually, it makes sense why you would look to now bring in potentially two midfielders into the squad. I just hope Partey's one of them. That's all I hope. Um, but what do you guys think about this Torreira situation? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Will you miss him? Do you hope he doesn't leave? I must admit, I wanted him to stay because I rate him as a better player than Granit Xhaka. But just because I rate him as a better player than Granit Xhaka doesn't mean I can't poke holes in his game. I've always said that. I've always said that he's a good player, but I'm not besotted with him the way Arsenal fans seem to be. Funny enough, I said that I think about a year and a half ago. So this should be no surprise to anyone that's wondering what I think about this situation. It's a shame it's come to this, but we knew he wanted to leave last year. So the way I see it, let's extract the most we possibly can out of him. I don't want to hear no 30 million. It's like you need to shower with that. I know he wants to leave and all, but let's not take the piss. I think he's still got 2 years left on his contract, possibly 3. He's 24 years old. You better give us some actual dough for him. None of this bullshit. You know, let's at a minimum, I don't want to hear less than 40 million. At a minimum. But what do you guys think? What would you want to sell him for? Realistically, guys, let's not start talking 60 million. What would you think we can actually get for him? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Speaking of midfielders, I kind of ruined it, but let's segue into that anyway. And that is Rabiot, Adrien Rabiot, the Juventus midfielder. It simply put, the move hasn't seemed to work. I think me and Lee pointed this out some time ago. This is Juventus. This is what they do. They pick up these valuable free transfers. They put them into the team whether they need them or not. Then if it doesn't work out, they sell them on a couple of years later and make money on them. Rabiot, we know. I remember that whole drama seems to have gone on and on and on. For a couple of years now, we've been linked with Rabiot. He's spent a long time courting and flirting and getting into deals and then last minute backing out of deals. And in my mind, I was thinking, are you all that to be doing that? I kept thinking that. I was just getting a bit tired of it, right? He's gone to Juventus, and let's face it, the move just hasn't worked. He's not had a lot of appearances. Neither has Ramsey, to be honest. And he's now being linked with a move. From our point of view, he's still a quality player. I think he's 27. I like putting ages on. I like putting years on ages, so I could be very wrong when I say that. But he's not that old. He's still a quality player. I know it hasn't worked out at Juventus. Oh no, see, I did it. He's 25. He's not 27. He's still a quality player. Plays that number 8 position, so he can play DM, but he's more of a kind of a creative player, kind of a creative defensive player, very much in an Arteta type of mold, if you like. When Arteta was good, when he played for Everton, I'm thinking. But yeah, for me, I've said this for a long time. I'd have him. I like him as a player. I think he's a good player, and I'd have him. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. What I don't want is for us to get this guy and then for us to not get a Thomas Partey. You guys could see I'm obviously in love with this idea of this signing. I know I'm setting myself up for a fall. I know deep down. But what do you guys think? Leave it in the comments below. Leave it in the chat room. I hope you guys are well and you're enjoying the show. Please do stick a like on this video. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Just some quick drops, just because I've seen my co-host in the chat. You will see Black Scorpion in the chat. That is my combat show co-host, 102. We've literally just wrapped up a show on the combat show. So for those people keep asking us MMA stuff, that is the place to be. Please subscribe if you haven't already. The link is literally in the description below right now. The combat show we've just wrapped up every single Friday evening at 9:30. It's a lot of the reason why this is late. So 9:30, please do check that out if you haven't already. Me, Ola, and Will, we go hard at it. So we just done a show on the top 5 Mexican boxers, top 5 American boxers, and then we talked about a possible matchup between Francis Ngannou and John Jones. So hopefully you guys enjoy the show. All right, let's get back to football and um, let's talk about Unai Emery. So Unai Emery has come out, as he seems to be coming out. I can understand in some ways because it didn't end well for him at Arsenal, and he's almost trying to explain stuff and why certain things went wrong. One of the things that I think most Arsenal fans kind of knew already was that he didn't get the targets he wanted. A good example is, and I've said this before, he was very set on getting Thomas Partey, wanting Thomas Partey a couple of years ago, and then didn't get him. He wanted Thomas Partey last year, didn't get him. Was given Torreira. We know that that wasn't his signing. That was the board signing. And ironically, we can now see the way that's worked out. And that was probably a lot of the reason he did play Torreira in the end. And subsequently, he feels that these are the reasons why Arsenal performed badly because, from his perspective, he wanted Zaha, he didn't want Pepe. He wanted Partey. He didn't want Torreira. You know, he wanted Nzonzi as well. That was another big rumor that was going around. He wanted Maguire. That was another rumor that was going about. So obviously he didn't get the targets that he wanted. From my point of view, it's not a huge surprise that he wanted Zaha. Wilfried Zaha seems like the sort of player he'd like. He very much is someone that likes to play on the counter attack. And in my opinion, Wilfried Zaha, I don't personally rate him that highly as a player. I've said that countless of times before. But I think his biggest attribute is that I think he's one of the best in a counter attack situation. So you can see why Emery would have wanted him for that point of view. But I don't really understand the point of coming with all this coming out now. It kind of is like, yeah, we know this, but what's your overall point? Like, what are you trying to get at? It kind of is what it is. It's done. But what do you guys think? Do you know, is this just Emery just trying to talk himself into a Valencia job? I know he's being linked highly with that Valencia job. It's almost like he feels compelled to explain why certain things happen. The other day he was blaming the fans. It's just like, mate, just all right. Go just stay in Spain. That would be, and I'm not saying that on any kind of racist thing, but clearly that's your language. You can communicate clearly in that language. It just makes sense for you to stay there. Because I think for me, and he may not have got his targets. Many managers don't. Arteta won. But I think it's about how you are able to adapt to that situation. Very interestingly enough, and I'm sure Capone, if he comes into a chat, will agree. I love Filthy Fellas, for example. That goes live every weekday, and obviously working from home. Once it hits 5 and I take a small break before I inevitably carry on with work, Filthy Fellas will pop up as a podcast and I have it playing on in the background. And one of the debates that was on Filthy Fellas was whether Jose Mourinho is past it as a manager. You guys know this. I never wanted him to take over at Arsenal. I must confess, if you told me have Jose Mourinho or a novice manager, I would have picked Jose, but that I would not have. I personally wouldn't have him as a manager. But one of the arguments and reasons for that debate was the fact that Jose doesn't get the targets he wants. And kind of my whole thing is, yeah, but who at work gets everything that they want to get? You know, yeah. Ideally, I'd like to be paid more. Quite honestly, there's certain things about work that I wish, and I'm not going to start bashing work. Lord knows I'm not going to do that. But there are certain things that I would like to happen at work that doesn't happen. It's about how you adapt and use that material to make it work and make the job effective. You know, and I feel like that's the sort of things that I would personally like to see in Mikel Arteta moving forward. But in my Arsenal managers, you're not going to get everything you want. This is not the type of board where they're a Man City, it's an open checkbook and you get anything you want. So you're just going to have to make stuff work. You know, for example, and this is why I do worry, you know, by all intents and purposes, all we hear is that Mikel Arteta's number one priority signing is Thomas Partey. Partey has basically said, "Cool, come and get me. I'm ready." Yet there's still huge doubts from us as a fan base that it will happen, and you know, rightly so in a lot of ways. Like we can understand why why we have that trepidation because it's Arsenal. It is Arsenal. Even if we sell Lucas Torreira, you just know some kind of BS will for some reason delay us going to get Thomas Partey. So you can that this is about just adapting. So for you to be bitching about Arsenal not, oh, we didn't get X person, we didn't get Y person, and gives a damn, make it work. It's not like It's not like Zart. It's not like Pepe is a crap player. Make it work. Lucas Torreira is not a crap player. Make it work. Anyway, that's just my rabbiting over done with. Guys, let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments below. I don't know why people keep telling me Molina is real, but okay, cool. Uh, yeah, Liverpool, you never walk like you hope he's crap. I get it. You're a Liverpool fan. You're meant to hate. Let's talk about this keeper story. So Arsenal are being linked with Barca keeper Neto. So he's a Brazilian keeper who's 30 years old. And he came from, I remember this signing, like they spent a bit of dough on this Neto guy. I remember he came from Valencia for like 23 million. I thought, oh, so they spent this much on a number two, basically. And so it seemed because he's gone on to make a grand total of 4 appearances for Barcelona this season. And obviously, quite rightly so, he's not happy. So he wants to leave the club. And subsequently, us, Atletico Madrid, and who else? Someone else is being linked with him as well for a move for him. It'd be interesting to see if this happens. I like the idea that we're being linked with a goalkeeper. I do think that that's an area I'd like to see strengthened, which you guys will sit there and say, really? Leno had an amazing season. Whilst you guys probably thought Leno had a 9 out of 10 season, I probably thought he had a 7 out of 10 season. I thought it was good. I don't see this amazing stuff that people are talking about. Nevertheless, I'd like to see him kept on his toes. And I don't think Martinez is that guy. I had my concerns. You guys will remember this. I had my concerns going into the season whether Martinez would be good enough. Because my kind of thought process was, well, he always goes out on loan. And it's only the Reading situation where I've ever heard anything good about Emilio Martinez. Now, I won't say Martinez is an Almunia. I actually quite like I like the way he distributes the ball. I like the way he communicates with his defenders. I don't think he's a particularly good shot stopper. That's just my opinion. And that's kind of weird to say about someone who's 6'5". Because Lord knows I love his height, but I'm not overly impressed by him. And that kind of makes me think maybe we need to look elsewhere then and enter this guy. But I don't know if this guy is worth it because what are you trying to do? You're trying to spend the sort of money that you spent on Leno? I can't see him spending that. So you're trying to bring him in on loan? I can't see them doing that either. So they're probably looking for some type of cut price deal for them to take him off Barca's hands. Remember, Barca are desperate to lower their wages at the moment. Obviously, with all this COVID stuff that's been going around, these clubs are trying to find ways of cutting that down on cash, as should we be, to be fair. I know that don't make no sense, but I preferred saying it that way. As should we be? Yeah, you heard me. Roll with it. Um, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this story goes. If it has any legs at all, let me know. Leave it in the comments below. I think that's pretty much it. Let me just have a quick scan of the stories just in case I've missed any. Once again, guys, please do stick a like on this video if you haven't already. Absolutely drill that like button. I'd appreciate it if you guys did that. One final thing. I will want to say this with a bit of a serious head. Kenny Sansom is currently in hospital. For anyone who doesn't know, and there are a lot of youngsters that listen to me, Kenny Sansom is an Arsenal legend. And at the moment, he is in the Royal Devon Exeter Hospital. Basically, he had a fall and he injured his head. And now he's pretty unstable at the moment in hospital. So, Samson's had a lot of series of troubles over the years with, mental health and alcoholism and things like that. So this obviously is a little bit of a concern. So for me, just from the Puna Eagle Eye channel, just thoughts go out to him and his family. I hope he pulls through it. This is an Arsenal legend we're talking about. Thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family. Okay. All right. I'm just literally quickly having a quick scan just to see if there is any stories I missed out on. Please do slap a like on this video if you haven't already. Very, very quickly. Hold on one sec. Nothing really of any significance other than the things I've spoken about already. When a pole position to sign who? Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Where's this story from before people tell me off? So this is from footballfacts.net. Arsenal are in a pole position to sign 26-year-old star Ryan Fraser on a free transfer. The belief was that he preferred to go to Spurs. This was the last I heard about the story. But according to this article, a source with an understanding of his situation has told Football Insider that the deal is all but done between the Scottish player and one club, as we already know. It is understood that Ryan has changed agents back in January, and his new agents have helped him take him to the brink of a summer move. It will mean him quitting Bournemouth. Arsenal being most linked with a raid for Ryan, and we're in hot pursuit last summer. So yeah, there's no real substance to it other than they believe that now Arsenal are the team that he's being linked with. So what do you guys think? Because Ryan Fraser, people are very, very mixed on this idea of Ryan Fraser. I still think he's a decent enough player. I know that he plays on the left wing. I think he can be a decent squad player for us. I really do. He could almost be our version of Adam Lallana, which I know, ironically, is also free this summer. I think I said this last week, but yeah, for me, I take him on. I think he'd be a useful enough player. He doesn't need to interrupt what Saka's doing. I think Saka is still personally, still my first choice in terms of starting on that left-hand side, but there's nothing wrong with having options there. I think we need to have options, and if this guy could be it, let's talk about it. Let's see. I wasn't going to talk about this story, but I suppose I should because I did put it on my community post. But when I thought about it, I thought, this don't make no sense. And someone in the comment section also thought the same thing. Fair play to them, because I can understand why they would say it doesn't make any sense. But let's talk about it anyway. I'm going to get the story up. Sorry, bear with me if you hear anything. Shouldn't do. Just going to change 1 second. Oh, yeah, 1 second. Just changing. getting the community post up. Sorry, guys, bear with me. I hope you guys are all right and you're having a good Friday. Please do stick a like on this video. Let's do this. All right, let's talk about this story. Now, this is a player I badly wanted us to sign. Badly wanted us to sign. Arsenal have supposedly, and I say supposedly, bear in mind I wasn't going to talk about this, made an inquiry about signing Inter Milan midfielder Nicola Barella. Now, you'll remember he was previously of, I think it was Sampdoria or Fiorentina, one of the teams. I can't remember who he used to play for. But this was last year. Very, very good player. A very good player. In the ilk of your Rumours, your Dominic Soblowski's, that sort of player. A little bit more defensive than that, but very technically good. Very dynamic player. A lot of excellent ability. As recently as last week, I believe, Pirlo came out and said that he really loved the player. Thought he was a really, really good player. So we're talking about someone who seems to impress a lot of people. Well, according to FC Internews.it, you can see where I got my transfer rumors from. This is what doesn't make any oh, it was Calgary he was previously. Okay, sorry. Doesn't make any sense, the story. Basically, he's on loan at the moment at Inter Milan. Inter Milan have first option to sign him. In fact, they are obliged to sign him on July the 1st. Now, Barrera was snapped up on a season-long loan last summer, which will cost them 12 million for the loan. And then they are obliged to make the deal permanent for 25 million euros. So that means that it will bring the entire cost of Barrera to 37 million euros, which is 33 million pounds. So for me, if that's the case, why are we being linked with a move for him? Especially if they're obliged to get, it's not even like they have an option. They're obliged to get him. He's performing well. I don't know why Arsenal would even inquire about it. These are stories like this I don't really like to give too much attention to, but it's only because this is the type of player that we would love to have. He'd be so good. This is Torreira on steroids. I'm not literally saying steroids, but for me, this is the kid. This kid is 3 times the player of Lucas Torreira. Just as dynamic and a lot better positional sense to me. But to me, there's not much legs in the story. Very good player, but if they're obliged to buy him, I'm not really sure why we'd be being linked with a move for him. But hey ho, I know these are the sort of stories that people hate me talking about. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Leave it in the chat room. All right, I'm going to go into the chat room now. It is 11:35. I don't really want to be on your cases for too long. Keep in mind, this is my second podcast tonight, so I am all talked out to a certain degree, but let's do 10 minutes or so, and we'll go back and forth. For those of you wondering on my schedule, Unit Eagle Eye, there'll be none tomorrow. I'm having Saturday off, but I'm having Saturday off in order to focus on chick flicks. So chick flicks, I'll drop a few reviews on chick flicks, so make sure you check that out. It'll be the only form of work I do tomorrow. And then on Sunday, I'll be back for Late Night with Chick. We'll be on we'll be on at 10 p.m. on Sunday. So make sure you check us out. I will announce who will be on my Twitter and on my community page. So make sure you look out for those 2 things. And also hit that notification bell. So when a show does come, you guys are aware of it. Hit that subscribe button as well if you've not already done so. All right? All right, let's go into the chat room and see what you lot are saying. First things first, if I missed any donations, you can always donate to the show. It's always brilliant when people do it. Please don't think I'm ungrateful when people do it. It's very, very nice and useful for the show. I always reinvest it back into the show. But if you can't, don't feel bad. The best donation you can make is by sticking a like on this video. All right? Okay. Just carefree, relax, by the way. You're not blocked. If you're blocked, I can't see your message. You just must have been timed out for a particular reason. All right, so be easy. Okay, let's go to the chat room and see what you are saying. As my man Asphalt say, please do smash those likes. I'd appreciate if you guys could do that. Let's start off with Adams, who was the critical one, by the way. He was the critical one from yesterday. Adam, who do you think is better manager, Lampard or Arteta? I know as players, there's no comparison. Lampard was a much better player. I still think it's probably too early to tell. But Lampard certainly seems to be getting the better results at the moment. Now, to be fair, Lampard has experience. He has more experience than Arteta. So it probably is not a fair comparison. But yeah, so far, you got to say Lampard. So far. Whether Arteta's ceiling is higher is a different debate. Angel Gomez is Nani's cousin. Okay. I know he's being linked with everyone at the moment. Thank you, Ramon. Much appreciated, my bro. Oh, you kind of look like Will. Ola, does he not look like Will? Just a little bit. Buster Cherry is in the house. I see you, Buster Cherry. All right, let's go to the bottom. That's the best way to do it. Lampard all day. I won't go as far as to say better, though. Stop saying Lampard. It's Arteta, guys. The board are going to back Frank. They ain't going to back Arsenal. Come on, guys. Questions. Don't argue amongst yourselves. Questions. Otherwise, I'll get up out of here. Stop disturbing the growth of the channel, mods. FSEG. I'll stop blocking y'all. You guys are always arguing these days, man. Questions, come on. RVP or Sanchez? You gotta say RVP had a better impact on our team. Then again, Sanchez won more trophies. Oh, that is hard. Yeah, you gotta say Sanchez then. Sanchez had more. There was more. There was more. At the end of the day, when you shake down both of their careers, we won the trophies with Sanchez. We didn't with RVP. So yeah, gosh, I didn't think about it like that. Yeah. North Pole or South Pole chick. This guy. Just slapping for such a comment. Arteta or Oli? Listen, you compare the easiest way to answer this question is look at the table and who's higher. That's all you have it. That's all you can compare it to. That is all you can compare it to. Once again, to be fair to Arteta, Oli is another person who has had managerial experience over him. But so it's almost not fair to compare the two. Bear in mind, I'm also quite critical of Arteta, but I'm also fair. It's unfair to necessarily compare these guys until Arteta's had some sort of has at least had a season under his belt. Blimey. Yeah. You hope Liverpool, you walk on. You're one of the most vocal on Pepe, and I have no idea why. If he's so crap, I don't know why you're so vocal on him. It's almost like you're worried he'll get better. B-Chig, which would you rather, which would be a better signing, centre back or replacement for Uber if he left? Centre back. Centre back. Yeah, centre back. It'd be a better signing. Doesn't mean I wouldn't sign someone to replace Uber, by the way. I mean, let me just make that nice and clear. But centre back. Any managers that interest you, excluding Julian? Um, yeah, I still want Simeone. I still want Julian Nagelsmann. I still want. I like forward-thinking managers that achieve stuff. So that for me, style of footballs are irrelevant. Just be successful. If you ask me, I still have Rafa. I still have Rafa. This is a winner who's had experience in this league. It's irrelevant now, isn't it? Arteta's got the job. Oh, we got a United fan in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Perez, I loved Overmars, but let's just be real. Socrates, I I don't know how David Luiz gets amazing press. I was watching I was looking at an article yesterday talking about the amazing impact of David Luiz. And I'm in mind, I'm sat there, I'm like, did I miss part of the season? I know it's been a couple of months, but did I miss part of the season where David Luiz was amazing? I don't remember that. I remember 3 games he's been decent all year. Amazing? No. Socrates. And by the way, I'd sell Socrates. uh, who else? My favorite Canadian. Great show, Amanda or Havertz. Well, come on, guy. Come on, my guy. Come on, my guy. It's obviously going to be Havertz, but yeah, of course. Amanda looks very good. He reminds me of Alexis. I like him. It was very good. Funnily enough, I suppose that kind of reminds me. So you know this Brazilian that we're after. Let me try and find the story before I keep going. Let me just double check it and see. Also, determined to sign 27-year-old Argentinian. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's more Icardi links. I'd be shocked. I mean, unless Aubameyang's actually leaving, that's the only reason that would make sense. Sorry, let me find the story real quick because it does remind me. Oh fuck it, I'll talk about it again on Sunday. But essentially, basically, this youngster that we're being linked with. I think his name is Gabriel. Oh, not Jesus. It's I can't remember his name, but he's supposed to be 17 years old. Supposed to be very good. We offered 12 million for him in January or last summer, one of the two. No, it was in January. They rejected it. They're looking for closer to 26 million. He's supposed to be the new Gabriel Jesus, supposedly. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But Arsenal are apparently very keen on him. But I didn't want to talk about that story too much because you kind of figure that Arsenal will lean a little bit on the Brazilian market. So yeah, we'll see. 12 million for a 17-year-old. No, but they want 26. That's the point. Veron. That's it. My man's got it. My man's got it. Hold on. Let me highlight him properly. Veron, that's his name. Veron. He's supposed to be very, very good. We're being linked with him heavily. Decent enough player, but it is what it is. The Gerson story, yes, I did see us being linked with it some more. But once again, I'm not seeing anything of any substance. Pau Torres, I did comment on this yesterday. As far as I know, there's been no further development. I just know that the move to Valencia fell through, and I don't know what's now going on. But yeah, so I hope that covers that. Chig, R9 or Henri? For me, it has to be R9. Yeah, yeah. R9 did it at a higher level consistently. Uh, Henri was an amazing domestic striker who blew up on a European level. But R9 did it in every single stage he was in. Whereas with Henri, you always question what he did. I know he went on to get Champions League success with Barcelona, but how integral was he during that match, during that run up? For us, he was very integral getting to the final. But when it came to that stage, he went missing. And that's always something that's been leveled at Henri. So, yes, I would say R9 as well. Random, though, Ben. A bit random. Long Steve or short Steve. This guy is asking me the type of questions that make me want to slap him. All of us be drunk. Oh, shit. Who do I want to win the Euros next year? No one in particular. I hope England does well. I like Spain. I like France, so we'll go with France. We'll go with France. Yes, I would. Oh, yes, I would. Yes, I would. Bolly's quality. Yep, he is. He is. So is your defender. We should take him off your hands. Come on, guys. Any other questions? Because I'm going to shoot up out of here. What's my favorite Arsenal jersey? I've got the burgundy one. You know that really odd coloured one. Um, the last year of Highbury, that one. It's literally in that room just now. That's my favourite jersey. Not I've only bought one jersey since then. Who was the better captain, John Terry or Tony Adams? For me, I'm going to say Adams. I get why people would say John Terry, but I think John Terry. My argument for that is taking my Adams bias out of it. John Terry, I think, brought too much negative energy to the table when he was captain. When you look at the Rio Ferdinand, Anton Ferdinand situation, when you look at the Wayne Bridge situation, you look back, you just think to yourself, yeah. And don't get me wrong, for what he did and what he achieved, I arguably he achieved more. He lifted the Champions League. Adams didn't lift the Champions League, but I just feel like for me, it's Adams, in my opinion. Who will I support in the Bundesliga tomorrow? Dortmund. I've always liked Dortmund. I know that means I have something in common with the with a certain YouTuber that you know I don't like, but so be it. Dortmund, I do like him. All right, guys. I'm starting to think to bounce up out of here, but I've literally got my highest viewers tonight, so I'm kind of like jostling and turning. We'll see. Please do stick a like on this video if you haven't already. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Am I doing a watch on with Willie? I have not been asked, so I'm not going on. That's my attitude. I'm just chilling. I'm watching the game, of course. I'm just chilling. I know at some point during the game, it'll be like, shoot, come on. It's like, brother, why didn't you ask me this before? But no, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. Kelvin, stay on shoot. Nah. I need to go, man. I'm talked out. The toxic stand. Ollie out. John Terry Stratus, his teammates' wives, and of course Liverpool fans love him. No comment. because I ain't trying to get sued. My favorite Mexican American is here, Mr. Hernandez. Thank you, my brother. You too. You too. I hope you're safe where you're at, because America does not care when it comes to the COVID thing. Or what? It's in America. Rago, we're gonna ease down lockdown. You guys are not messing around. Chief, do but nah. Do you know the amount of people that are doing Bundesliga watch-alongs tomorrow? I don't expect anyone to have particularly good viewing figures because everybody is doing a separate one. Everybody. So yeah, I would imagine. My guess is I would imagine True Geordie's doing one. Lee will be doing one. The Idiot will be doing one. Filthy Fellas are doing one. And those are just the ones I know about. I would imagine AFTV's doing one. It's just, I'll be watching it, but I ain't going to do no watch along. I'll probably just be doing stuff for chick flicks, to be fair, while it's on. Thank you for the donation, brother, though. I appreciate it. Mr. George, no, I do not. It's not a secret. It's a long story, the reason why, but no, I do not. Yeah, I covered that F4. Cheek, Ferdinand or Terry? I always preferred Ferdinand as a defender. Always. Always had. But I like my defenders to do a little bit more. The irony is, I personally used to play like John Terry. Not as good before anyone starts making memes, but in the sort of similar sort of style. But I personally like the type of defenders I like is your John Terry's. Ramon, you're gonna have to figure it out yourself, man. My brother. I think the long-time subscribers know who I'm referring to when I say the idiot. I'm playing my own game behind doors. Of what? Proper 12. That's what you're playing. Mr. Elliott. Mr. Elliott. Hold on. I saw you. If Torreira leaves, we would need to obtain a DM like Sangara or an all-round midfielder like Partey. Yep. Simply put. Yep. He's referring to Lee. Sure. Lee, FYI, I'm not. Just in case someone actually takes that seriously, I'm clearly you already know. You already know what I got. You already know. Clearly, he's referring to Lee. All right, guys. I am up out of here, man. I hope you guys are well. Please do stick a like on this video. No, I'm not talking about troops. Men troops are cool. Please do stick a like on this video. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I am up out of here, guys. Oh, this trim is so dead. All right. I'm about to get up out of here. Please stay safe out there, first and foremost. Once again from this channel, Kenny Sansom, please get well soon. And I'll be back again on Sunday on this channel. Take care. Enjoy yourself. Night, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.